Yeah, it's your boy Tally Woe, and I'm not even gonna hold y'all up. I got some crazy videos, crazy stuff I want to talk about, so we just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna show y'all what I've seen this week.
Can somebody tell me why all these celebrities have been showing up with what looks like to be a hidden ankle monitor? Perhaps this has something to do with what P. Diddy has gotten up to lately, because it's not just Oprah who has one of these. Ellen DeGeneres and many other celebrities have been caught with what looks to be an ankle monitor. And this goes into the whole boot phenomenon, where some people theorized that they actually had to wear these to hide a ankle monitor beneath them because of a secret court order, but they also had to show up some days with a boot on the wrong foot to be like a secret reveal to the public that they had been compromised somehow. They even got Arnold on here. This was all even reported on in the news. And then there was this weird moment on Oprah's show where all these celebrities showed up and they all raised their hands the same way. Here, I'll show you the full clip because I thought it was super weird. He does not look happy to be here. There was the two hands there.
If you don't have an ounce of pattern recognition in your neurological structure, look, you're just not going to see it. Even in your own community, you can see these little subtle instances where people are doing the same exact thing or wearing the same exact thing during the same time frames, and you can't speak on it because you're not in on it, so you're automatically seen as an outsider, one. And then two, if you do speak on it, you don't know who's a part of it because you've seen these instances so many times that you can't tell who's just doing it as a coincidence and who's actually participating in whatever it is. But believe me when I say, if you don't have attention to detail, of course you're not going to believe what people are talking about. But if it's more than one person that's pointing this stuff out, everybody can't be crazy. Everybody who brings this up is crazy. Come on, use your heads.
What was this commercial from the 90s trying to tell us?
Hell, dude, send your mama and daddy out of the room. I gotta get you up on this. You know who I am. Snake, dealing in weed, coke, crack, your choice. Take one hit and you'll do anything to cop more. Steal from your mama, lie, cheat on your homeboys. But hey, that's the price you pay when you deal with dudes like me. Now, some folks will tell you that I'm dealing in poison. But hey, do I look like the kind of guy that would do that to a kid like you? Yes.
So in a commercial, he said, do I look like I am the type of person to do something like that to a kid like you? And then he started, turning into a reptilian. I just find that, very, very interesting considering all the things that we know about the reptilians. You ever heard the saying, the wolf in sheep clothing? Kind of remind me of this movie, They Lived. It's free on Tubi if y'all want to go watch it. Let me know what y'all think about this draconian commercial from the 90s in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned. Follow me on YouTube if y'all want that exclusive content. And by the way, TikTok, this video is for entertainment purposes only. Only entertainment. Everything is scripted and everything is fake.
Now, we're going to skip past the fact that it was a drug prevention, addiction prevention campaign. We're going to move into the fact that they used a character that now that people are starting to ask questions about it, it's being removed from our attention. It's being forced into the zone of cuckoo conspiracy theories. It's being forced into some kind of big sarcasm joke. And I think we should kind of shrink back down and take a look at instances like this and why this particular character has shown up and been removed from our reception over and over and over. Not just that commercial. Let's go to the movie They Live. I don't know if you watch 80s movies or anything like that, but if you watch that movie, it's about the magic glasses and the guy that puts them on and he can see people for what they really are. You need to take a look at that movie. That's one. Two, Mortal Kombat came out in the 90s, I think in 1991. Now, there was a character in that game. His name was Reptile, and he was a shapeshifter. He could shift into any one of the other characters that you could play in the game and use their abilities and stuff. For whatever reason, a few additions down the game, he was removed. Three, if I can remember the name of the show, but it was an animated show that was on Netflix, and it was about the lizard people conspiracy. And it was about the government having these familiars that would help hide these entities' identity amongst the community. And it was a very, very revealing show. It brought up all the conspiracy theories, kind of laid them out for you in a Family Guy kind of way. And it was a really good show. But for some reason, it got canceled when everybody was watching the show. All right. Then we got David Icke, godfather of the reptilian conspiracy, who they have like they've went arm and leg trying to discredit this man and make him seem like he's just some, cuckoo thing, like they did Bob Lazar. I can get into this for probably an hour about all these instances where people use this 4D chess, which is a term I use in all of my videos to show you how it's done, to reveal to you something that's an actual fact, pull it back, turn it into a joke so that everybody that knows about it thinks it's just something that crazy people talk about. And, then they put it in mass media as like a joke, and they even use the term reptilian. We've watched Nancy Pelosi say this on a campaign event. Now, the truth is stranger than fiction. Nothing these days is what it seems. It's what's making people not watch the news. It's what's making people tune out and detach from everything that's going on right now because we can't get the real reason why. But you think they're telling you the truth. Open your mind.
You guys, you have to watch this. I got sent this early this morning in a private message.
Didn't do the math in that last clip, 33 and 17. You add that up, you get the number that was on the back of the referee's shirt, 49. 49 total points in the whole game. Why in the world, in a game that serious, in a game that important, would the referee have his ass anywhere near the field of play, the zone of play, enough to trip and ruin the quarterback's chances at even attempting to catch up? Game ended at 49 points. And then you saw the ref give that little smirk at the end, like, not this time for him. There's been plenty of players that have gone on to interviews and said 100% that there was a script, not only in the NFL, but in the NBA. If you haven't, go look up Shaq talking about it. Open your mind. You don't have to believe everything somebody's telling you, not even me. I don't know everything. I just like connecting the dots, and I've been doing it long enough to have the attention to detail and the pattern recognition to know that when I'm seeing an instance over and over and over, that maybe it's not a coincidence. And referees, keep y'all ass out of the way. For real though. Y'all are literally controlling the game when y'all are right there where the players need to be doing things. Get y'all ass out the way.
Look, I know everybody think everything is a conspiracy, although I told y'all 2 years ago, I showed y'all the report where the CIA created the term conspiracy theory for critical thinkers. It is just a weaponized term, and it is not a conspiracy that there likely is a clone-yay and clones and skin mask and Jamie Foxx might be the next one. It's not a conspiracy that these things actually exist. So I'm just going to show you guys the difference between clones and skin masks that are going around because the world is a stage and everything is not what you think it is.
Humans made to order, mothers giving birth to themselves, babies conceived just so their body parts can be transplanted. Come with me into the scary new world of cloning. The nightmarish stuff of science fiction has suddenly become a reality. Behind those walls, there are people with the technology, the ability and the desire to genetically engineer human embryos, to be the first in the world to successfully clone a human being.
Very pleased to announce that the first baby clone is born. She was born yesterday at 11:55 a.m. in the country where she was born. So this will not give you more details about the location. She's fine. We call her Eve.
Cloned is a private company. We founded that 4 years ago, got the funding to really have lab last August. And so now we have 3 scientists working almost full-time in a lab here in the United States with the major goal for us to produce a human embryo by human cloning.
My first gen was born in Jersey. However, I was cloned by Clonate in Canada. My model number is 0112568, if anyone wants to see the registration in Clonate. When I was cloned, they wiped a lot of memory, but when I stole the documents before escaping, I read that the mother was Puerto Rican and I guess the father, surrogate, you could say, was the sperm donor was the Sicilian.
I think you have my hair on a stick. Oh my God. Twice life never looked so good. Oh my God.
Or what is this creature that doesn't breathe and has fish gills or something weird?
Now they say the truth is stranger than fiction, so share, duet, whatever before they take this down, because they don't want y'all to know about clones and skin masks yet, but it's revelation time.
So there's a few points I'm going to hit on this one. One, when old people have to do a public event where they're going to be on camera and stuff, they do have skin tape where they try to pull back your face and make everything look tighter, just to make you look more appealing for the screen, everything like that. So that could be at play. Two, the face masks that people wear to appear to be someone else, that's actually real. The CIA actually has a disguise department, and I think you can find the video of the head of that department actually wearing a mask to one of her interviews, looking like a completely real person, and then taking it off. So it's real. I'm not going to say it's fake. I'm just going to say that's not what's always happening when you see somebody with, loose skin somewhere where maybe they just didn't tape it how they should have to make this person appear younger. We've all seen actors look older off camera than they did in the movie that they just released, or looking older than the interview they just did for a press release for that movie. And that's because of that, Hollywood is a lot of glue and tape, but it's also a lot of dark secrets. So not discrediting that that's a real thing, just saying that every single time that you see, people look differently, that's not what's at play, but it is at play. Two, when it comes to celebrities who rely on attention to keep relevance, to stay relevant, you have to understand that all the popular trending topics that come up in society, in the communities and TikTok, on social media communities, they see that stuff. So if they think that they can play off of it and get the attention and pull that crowd into their whole relevant structure, they're gonna do that. That rapper stating that he was cloned, that's part of playing 4D chess, because now when you can find the instances of him not telling the truth about this situation, doing split screen videos where he brings his clone beside him and stuff like that, that's part of 4D chess. And let me tell you why. Because the company that he's talking about, it's a real company. Clonade is 100% real, and Baby Eve, the first human clone, is actually 100% real. I researched that whole story. She's real. She lives in the tower that's owned by Clonade in Rome, Italy, and the community, her community outside of that tower is fighting for her human rights, which Clonade is trying to say that she doesn't have because she is a clone. So, Clonade is real, but celebrities like that put their stories out and try to attach these brands and these groups to their story, whenever you can call bullshit on them and prove that they're not being honest about their part of the story, then you stop believing in every single aspect of the story even being real at all. So now when people discredit him, they're going to try to discredit the fact that Clonade is real. Clonade is real. They really do clone people. And the reason why, you have to watch the movie The Island, I think, with Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson. And The Island is about this sanctuary That's what they tell everybody that they are at. They're at a sanctuary to become perfectly healthy so that they can leave the island because the planet was hit by some kind of biohazard, and that's why they need to be on the island. Well, later in the movie, one of the guys figures out that they're not actually about to go anywhere better than where they are. They're actually winning a fake lottery and then being taken off in silence because all the people that were in that lab with them think that they won a lottery to be able to leave the island. Come to find out, they're actually being grown as clones so that whenever the people that they're cloned from need a kidney, a liver, some corneas, some eardrums, some kneecaps, whatever, they're going to off that person, take the body parts they need, just like a car shop, put it into the millionaire celebrity who wants to stay alive forever. There is truth in so much fiction. And again, the truth is actually stranger than that fiction itself. Watch The Island.
Truth in plain sight.
Okay, switch out the president in front of the leaders of the free world. No big dealio, just keep it realio.
Relax, Brett, we'll be fine. Unless the robot malfunctions exposing our agency to the world and toppling the shadow government.
We can do this, Brett. Picture your mental health with a Kodak. Oh God, what does mental health look like?
Please pass us human. Please pass us human. Oh God, here it goes.
Good evening, Sultan. How are the wives and kids?
They were very generous. Thank you, Mr. President.
So that was actually a clip from the show that I mentioned earlier, the animated series that talks about the Illuminati and the reptilian conspiracy. That part right there, that particular clip was speaking on the clones that they use whenever someone that they're supposed to be controlling is not controllable anymore. That particular person was supposed to resemble our last former president. Actually, he's not our last former president. He is our current president who's going out. Now, there's a lot of conspiracy surrounding him right now because there have been plenty of videos that have been posted showing him at a completely different height than he has been like his entire life, looking completely different than he has been his entire life. When people age, they change. We know that. But when people change so much that you can put a picture of them from 5 years ago next to a picture of them now, and you can clearly pick out at least 9 differences in everything, in the way that they stand, in their posture, in the way that their facial structure is built. That's not just saggy skin. And with all of the disappearances of whistleblowers about every single topic that comes out, it's kind of funny that people continue to try to discredit a person who does at least enough research to make you ask questions, and they do it so fast. But if it's such a preposterous, such a ridiculous statement or opinion that this person had, why are they disappearing and you can't even contact them to ask them if they made it up, if they did it for attention or what? Why are they disappearing? Why do they have obituaries?
What if I told you that all corporations are actually just one giant mega corporation? And I'm not talking about metaphorically. And I'm not talking about BlackRock. I'm talking about what's really behind BlackRock. See, we hit 1 million followers on TikTok this week, and I've been waiting to post this video since the very first video that I made, laying the groundwork of understanding so that we're all going to understand this now that we're here. So let's break it down real simple. If you're going to go grocery shopping at a corporate grocery store, all of these corporations are owned by these institutions. They're highlighted in red if they're on all 4 of these sheets. They're darker orange if they're on 3 of them, and light orange if they're on 2. And there's only a couple that only appear once. It's mostly the same money. But we go deeper. If you go for the biggest tech companies, it's basically the exact same list for all 4 of these. That would be Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, Fidelity, T. Rowe Price, Geode, which is similar to Fidelity Associated, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley. And then Northern Trust is on 3 of them, and Capital World Investors is the exact same thing as Capital Research and Management Company. So you might think, okay, these are the institutions that own the whole stock market. But who owns them? And see, if you've been around here for a minute, you already know. They all own each other. Just a giant cross-ownership pool. And this is where it gets really interesting. Because see, way back before I'd even posted a single video, I was sitting in my office reading this report from an anonymous user on Reddit. And he had noticed the exact same thing that I'm talking about right now. And he wrote a program to put all that data into a visualization so we can see who owns who. And I'm about to show you what he figured out. Let's take BlackRock, for example. This is a list of the top institutional owners of BlackRock and how much of the company they own. And if you visualize it, it looks like this, where the whole square is all of BlackRock's stock, and they get a percentage of that square based on how much they own. And the important colors to note are that white symbolizes us, retail investors, and gray symbolizes insiders that work at the company. So that would be like Larry Fink's stock, among other people. And everything else is other giant corporations, investment banks. Like BlackRock themselves own a little bit. State Street owns some. Capital World Management owns some. Bank of America owns some. You see how this works? But then you think about it and you're like, well, wait a minute. Because all of these institutions are owned by other institutions, right? So what if we put that data in here? Well, he did. And it looks like this. And you realize that all of this that was owned by Merrill Lynch is actually owned by all of these other institutions. And a little bit of us, retail, up there at the top. But here, we've only replaced Merrill Lynch's section. What about all of these guys? Well, then it looks like this. Remember, white is retail investors like you and me. And everything else is giant mega corporations. And if you go one layer deeper, filling in all those corporations with their corporations, you see how this program's working? And so then we simplify it to just black, gray, and white. And this is who owns BlackRock. White is retail investors like you and me. Gray is insiders at all of these corporations like CEOs and other executives. And black is just corporations owning each other. We'll call it megacorp. This is the same process done for Bank of America and for State Street and for Best Buy, Amazon, Macy's, groceries, food, ingredients, building and selling homes, even less white, meaning us, retail ownership. As far as I can tell, there's only one company on the entire stock market that is not owned by megacorp. Can you guess who it is? Do you know? It's GameStop. Except that this photo's out of date because it's from a few years ago. It probably looks more like this if you believe the public info, which is a big if. But more on that another time. This is not a video about GameStop. This is about megacorp. Because see, when all of the owners own each other, all of their interests are aligned. BlackRock wants State Street to do well because State Street wants BlackRock to do well because they both own each other. So who is the real final boss behind all the money? Well, isn't that the $1 million question? And ever since I've been asking those more important questions, my follower growth went from this to this. So you're not going to find those answers on this channel. You're going to have to go follow me in other places. All I'll say for now is that the next time you buy a product from a corporation like Nike or Costco or Best Buy or Amazon or any of these corporations, you're buying it from the mega corporation. They're all owned by the same big money. And it's all one big siphon, just vacuuming money out of our pockets up to the people on top. We'll make another video about how exactly they do that shortly. For now, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that is here and here and here. Your support means the world to me, and it allows me to do this work to help support small businesses and help look for the truth of what the heck's going on in this world. For all you guys that have been here since the beginning, you are legends. I notice you in the comments. I see you. I appreciate you, even if I don't get to as many comments and as many DMs as I used to. For all the people that have helped me do the digging, that have given me tips, that have collaborated along the way, I love you. You're amazing. Please never stop being curious, do your own research, don't trust the government, and get ready for a lot of censorship in 2024. So the very first video I ever posted on my page back in May of last year was about who owns everything. It only took us 8 months, a couple hundred videos, and 1 million followers to get right back to the exact same question. Who owns everything?
If that didn't make your stomach hurt, something's wrong with you. Think about that. We wonder where all the money is. People keep telling us there's money out there, you just have to go get it. Bitch, in what way am I supposed to go get it? Because I see people that have went to college all the way to get their PhD who are having so much trouble finding a job that they're not overqualified for. Then I see the people who thought that you could succeed without college, do something they really are good at, are talented at, creating things that nobody has created before, still not being able to get their shot. Then I see people who think, oh, well then forget the whole game. I'm going to live life by my own means, and they go do stuff that is against the law. And as soon as they get to that point where they're about to be self-sufficient, independent, entrepreneurs with their ill-gotten gains, they get snatched up right at the opportune time when they have enough money deemed sufficient enough for somebody to take from them, divvy it up between all the people that were in on getting them, and then that person has to go start back at the bottom. And then you see stuff like this, where all these big investors are clearly insider trading and having stake in each other's things. Think about that. Let's put it into a situation you can zoom out from. You got the 5 star NBA players on that team, 5 starting players. Then you got the bench. Then you got the commentators. Scoot back some more. Then you got the audience. Scoot back some more. Then you got the staff of the stadium. Scoot back some more. Then you got the scalpers selling tickets outside the stadium. Scoot back some more. Then you got the people that are in the parking lot about to try to buy the tickets from these scalpers. Scoot back some more. Then you got the people at home watching the game. When it comes to thinking you're going to invest and you're going to actually make money from it, you got to wait for all of those people that were in front of you to make their money first. You're the person at home watching the game. How fucked up is that? There are 18 people with them together, their money together. They have more money than every dollar every single person in the United States could put together. And people wonder why everybody's giving up. I'm not even going to ask you to open your minds on that one. They showed you the proof right there in the video. They're not hiding the links. They're not just making stuff up. Absolutely disgusting.
Recently, I've noticed a disturbing trend. Every morning I walk this road and pick up any debris. Lately, I found an abnormal amount of nails and screws. At first, I really didn't think much of it. But every day there's more and more of them. They almost seem to be spread around evenly, with many of them kicked to the curb by traffic. I only find them on one section of road behind one store. makes one wonder.
If you've known me long enough to be friends with me on Facebook or be mutual followers with me on Instagram, you thought that I was just coming up with cuckoo opinions on stuff out of a paranoid mind state. You 100% did. Now, I'm not asking for an apology, nor will I accept one, because I never thought you were right. I never thought I was wrong, because I am able to put together things. Now, let's dive into that. In a consumer-based society, you need people to buy things, especially as a business owner. Am I correct? All right. Now, if you need these people to buy things, how do you get them to do so if they already have it? If you're a doctor, how do you keep a perfectly healthy person in your care and coming back to your room? If you are a car salesman, if everybody in your community already has a car that works fine, how are you going to pay your bills? If you're a mechanic, and again, everybody's car works fine because they've done the upkeep, they know how to do everything to it, they're not driving like a maniac, and your whole community is full of people with a perfectly working car, how do you have a business? And if you are a tire shop and everybody is smart enough to replace their tires in a timely manner, so there's only one part of the year where you're busy and you're changing those tires, how are you paying for your business's lights? How are you paying for your worker salary? How are you paying for anything after everybody gets the tires that they need? How desperate are you going to get before you decide maybe we just need to force them into a situation where they need to come to us? Thank you.
You know who Epstein is?
Yes.
How do you know about him?
Because he's your dad. You showed me a picture.
Yo, watch your mouth.
The Island Boys are in hot water after a seriously disturbing image just surfaced of the rappers as children posing with the most notorious criminal island boy in the world.
I never put it together. One, because I've never seen that picture. And now that I see it, that's clearly those boys. Two, they're called the Island Boys. Three, they look exactly like Jeffrey Epstein. They look 100% like they could be his kids. And then you saw how frazzled he got whenever she mentioned, you showed me the picture, you told me. Now, could be a publicity stunt, 100%, because why would you film that entire situation and then post it? All I'm saying is 4D chess is a lot more complicated than you can perceive if you don't have the ability to pay attention. And most people don't. Most people don't even care enough to pay attention. But I digress.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. At least that's what a lot of people think. And here's some of the evidence that they cite when they talk about this case. So after his initial arrest, Jeffrey Epstein was placed on suicide watch for a number of reasons, even though he was continuously telling prison psychologists, friends, attorneys that he wouldn't do that and he's never considered it. So first of all, let's take a look at this sign. This is a sign that was hanging on or around Jeffrey Epstein's jail cell. No one knows why this question mark is around the mandatory. A newspaper even reached out to the Bureau of Prisons to ask about why there was an underlying question mark here, but they refused to comment. 7:49 on the night before they found Epstein dead in his cell. He's led to his cell and he's placed there. So Epstein had been on suicide watch for weeks at this point, but he had just been taken off suicide watch the day before. The people running the prison, the Bureau of Prison System, they recommended that Jeffrey Epstein needed to have a roommate at all times. Even if he had been taken off of the list, he was still on the list, if you know what I mean. Well, for some reason that night his roommate was not assigned to him. They were removed from the cell, and that left Jeffrey Epstein completely alone in his jail cell. Now remember this sign that said that they have to search his cell and look at Jeffrey Epstein every 30 minutes? Well, that did not happen. Well, it turns out that the two security guards that were supposed to check on him every 30 minutes, Michael Thomas and Tova Noel, did not check on him for over 8 hours. Video surveillance footage literally shows them playing with their phones and sleeping on the job. And keep in mind that Epstein at this point was America's most high-profile criminal. This dude was all over the news. And after all this, these two were charged with falsifying documents and attempting to defraud the federal government. So something that's always kind of rubbed me the wrong way about all this is the security camera footage itself. Now, this is a prison. Every angle should have been being captured at every single moment. You know, anything can happen in prison. And video footage of the security guards exists from that night, but there is no video footage of Epstein's cell block area or his cell door. It's actually been reported that the camera that was shooting the angle down Jeffrey Epstein's cell block area corrupted the night that he took his own life. Of all times for this one specific camera to corrupt and the footage to be lost, it was that night when it happened. And there's a lot more that we're going to get into, but like I said, there's just a lot here that we're going to cover, but this quote really says a lot about what I just told you. So Epstein's taken off suicide watch the day before he kills himself. His roommate is removed from the cell. The cameras on his tier are not working. The guards fell asleep. It seems almost impossible to think all those things could happen in that way. And this is Epstein we're talking about, America's most high-profile prisoner. In fact, the suicide watch observation log, this is the actual document, shows that Epstein was acting pretty normally that day. Which isn't to say that he wasn't deceiving people by saying he didn't want to take his own life when he was secretly trying to get alone time where he could do it, but it's still an interesting side note. In the next TikTok, we're going to get into the really crazy stuff.
Look, I'm going to try to keep this one short. When you have a person that smart who's part of something so big and would cost so many people so much money if it fell apart, and they're one of the brilliant minds, one of the few brilliant minds, clever enough to keep that whole thing going, you have two options. One, you can believe that that person is going to assist authorities in bringing that whole thing down so that they can get out of jail, and you're going to... Two, you need to find a way to get that person back to the playground in a way where the people that don't approve of anything that's going on will never find out. And if you think someone is dead, you're less likely to care about anything that might be going on that has to do with them. They're dead.
You know they eat babies. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. They're full-on vampires. They love the taste of human flesh and they drink human blood. They do, Tucker. Stop staring at me like that.
You're freaking me out, man. Because you spent your life in the entertainment business, so I think you have some authority on this.
So many kids that I was in mental institutions with over the years, they are all from those cults. And they've covered it all up. They covered it all up. And, you know, I just pray to God. I'm just going to pray to God that he opens everybody's eyes in this country. By the time we go in to vote for Trump, that he will open up everybody's eyes and they will stop pretending to be asleep.
Now, while Roseanne Barr has ostracized herself a couple of times in the media's eyes and society's eyes and everything like that, when you have a person who has lived their entire life in Hollywood come on to a national outlet and make such a big statement, such an unbelievable statement, you can either believe that they're doing it for publicity in a weird way to politically pull everyone to what they believe, or you can disagree with their political statement and you can still understand that somebody is saying something that too many people are saying, especially when it comes to this cannibalism. I hate even saying that word, but when it comes to stuff like that, and you have more than one person that has been in that environment and has lived decades in that environment saying the exact same thing, what are you questioning right now? Y'all not see the Army Hammer text? Y'all not see all these missing kids and these people who did end up making it out of Hollywood, but now they're torn apart mentally and physically because they've had to go through things that you couldn't even fathom, mostly because a lot of us are part of what they've been through in a negative way. And now we're supposed to just call all these people crazy because they're trying to come out and expose people who are making money off of some of the most messed up stuff in our society.
Did you know that the voice is represented by the soul? And that's why if you're autistic, it's hard to communicate, because this isn't heaven. This is a dark, mean, cruel, unenlightened world that feeds on pain. You're not autistic. You're a soul light being, and your body cannot merge with that 144,000 frequency bands of the Christoic light body. We are so much more than what they have ever even begun to tell you. Because if you truly knew you were God's daughter or son, you would not live the way half of you guys do. You would have honor, you would have integrity, you would have peace and strength, and you would have power to create the life you want, rather than being a victim to the society and matrix and systematic exchange of energy. This is the fucking matrix. Welcome to awakening. I am a starseed. I am not autistic. I am a starseed, and I was soul disconnected, and that is why I couldn't communicate. Not because something was wrong with me, but because something was wrong with the world and they didn't see it. That is why it's known as black magic. God bless you guys. Follow your heart. Follow your soul. It is the only light you truly have here. And with it, you'll merge into one with our gods, the sun. Everything is symbolic. magical world we live in. And understanding the fundamentals of it with quantum physics and spirituality, it makes it a beautiful interconnective relationship you're constantly experiencing with God, with spirit, with the past, and with multi-dimensional beings. It's a beautiful reality when you choose love over fear. God bless you guys.
Hey, she touched the boy's heart. I am gonna front on that, man. Like some people, they see people speak so enthusiastically to the point where they get kind of, emotionally invested in what they're saying, and a lot of people take the stance that a person's unhinged, or they're having a come apart, or they're having a manic episode or something like that, because they don't take the time and the consideration to listen to what this person's trying to say. And they don't understand that a person gets emotional when they've been trying to say something over and over and over, and people have just blown it off as them having one of their moments, or da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people would see that and be like, "Oh, she's freaking out. Shawty is tweaking." Like, no, for me, like, this was probably my favorite video that I've played so far. And it's because I have seen somebody be real. Everybody's trying to put on this image and have this aesthetic and have their life seem like this so that the people will like them and want them and give them attention and da da da. I hate that shit. Be real. Be her. Because it's way better than all the stuff everybody else is out here doing, deceiving people, putting their own people in the ground just for money, just to keep going to the next day. Like waking up the next day actually matters when you got to wake up to all this. I would rather spend time with a person like this before I would rather spend time with any of y'all. Because nobody seems to want to be authentic. Everybody can point at somebody else and pick out something negative about them and make it all about them. Everybody can victimize themselves, and everybody else is the enemy, and everybody else is the suspect, and they're the only victim, and things only happen to them. Nobody wants to take accountability for how they feel, what they've done, what they think, what they want to do with their life. It's always uh. But then when you do the pointing, nobody wants to point with you. It's pointing and being disagreed with, because now when you point out somebody that is helping somebody else make money, why do you think this person is going to come to your defense when they're making money off of this person? And that's what the world is right now. It's a big ass spider web, a big ass tangled up spider web. Because nobody wants to grow the fuck up. Nobody wants to accept that it's time to do the hard thing. Everybody wants to do whatever will make the next day easier for them, no matter who they got to throw under the bus.
Last words of Satanists before dying. Aleister Crowley. I am perplexed. Anton Lavey. Oh my, what have I done? There is something very wrong. David Hume. I am in flames. Voltaire. I am abandoned by God and man. I will give you half of what I am worth if you give me 6 months of life. Sir Francis Newport. Oh, that fire! Oh, the insufferable pangs of hell. Thomas Paine. Stay with me. For God's sake, I can't bear to be left alone. Oh, Lord, help me.
Have a nice day. Enjoy this beautiful fall weather. Open your mind and pay attention. That's what they don't want you to do. Holla back.